All right, a little Dynamite delight. This show felt middle of the road. I think that might be the title for this video because I'm looking at this show and we didn't really get anything spectacular. Matches were fine. I want to make this clear. All the matches were all good. There was no real major problems with them. Of course, they were very predictable. Let's make it clear. There was more than a few predictabilities. But there was also one that was not predictable that I didn't expect was going to happen. So I will say it is middle of the road. We got some things that obviously was going to happen. There was at least one or two things I didn't expect. And well, let me give it to you like this. When you look at the interviews, there was some botchiness between the interviewers and the ones who were being interviewed. But in general, it felt middle of the road. And that doesn't always mean a bad thing. But when you only have a few weeks before Forbidden Door, I'm expecting them to ramp up soon. If it's not next week, they better ramp up. Because as it stands, this is just here when it should be here. And then going to here. And that's just my point of view. I'm sure people are not going to agree with it, but this is how I feel about it. Opening Moxley versus Speedball Mike Bailey. Why? Let me give it to you like this. I'm not against Speedball working with Mox. In fact, I'm glad that he did. Mox has been the biggest guy that's been in the company, and working with Speedball will help his image. And now we're going to have Kevin Knight, and that was after the match. There was an issue with that. Now he's going to face him next. But let me make this very clear, and I'm going to say this again. Mox should have went away. Like Chris Jericho went away. He's been gone for months now. Moxley needed to go away. He should have just went away for a while and then came back after 2, 3, I say 3 to 4 months. Just go away and then come back with a vengeance. And that would feel a lot more better than what we got here. Because I'm just not seeing why he's still wrestling. It makes no sense. I don't see a story for Moxley right now. None. Now, you're going to tell me, oh, there is a story. Tell me what you think. But I'm going to tell you the truth here. The truth is this. Moxley has been used and overused for not 1 year, not 2 years, 3.5 years. He's been used a lot. Since CM Punk has been gone. The first time when he got injured, and then the second time when he was gone, and then the controversy when he went on, Anoa'i's podcast, which really made madness, and then Tony decided to take the chain off of it and let him write creatively. It's been about 3.5 years for me personally, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't think it's been 2.5, it's been 3.5. Because he had to do a lot of work when Punk got hurt, then the fights, then he was gone, then the controversy, then they let him do his storyline. 3 years. I say 3.5, 3 to 3.5 years. So I want to see him go away for a while, take a break, go for a rest, be with his daughter, work in the back if he needs to with Renee. I don't care. I just want him off television. And I'm kind of hoping after what's going on with him and Darby Allin, it'll be over. Because yes, we did get Darby Allin's sighting. We got him grabbing Wheeler Yuta and then forming into a body bag because he wants a match at Forbidden Door, which we're going to have. It's just going to happen. But the question's going to be, when that match is over, will Moxley just disappear for a while? He's overexposed. I'm just saying it. Next, the 4-way for the TBS Championship. Number 1 contender spot. Well, there's 4 spots there, of course. We already got, I believe, Willow Nightingale, and we got, who else is there? Chris Statlander. I think she's already there for that match. That's going to be the next one. No, that was the one at Forbidden Door. I'm sorry, I'm getting it mixed up. But we are going to get, what was it? I can't remember. The Fatal 4-Way. And then we got the CEO that came out that faced Windsor, who did win the match, which was very predictable. I would have rather seen, look, not Billy Starks, not Sky Blue. I would have liked Queen Aminata to win that spot. Because she's been doing good work. She has somewhat of a good character. She's got good charisma. I think Queen Aminata should have gotten it instead of Windsor. Windsor shouldn't have got it because it's just rushing her like they did, especially with Megan Bain. That's how it feels. And it sucks. And did I like the, oh my goodness. The two segments we got for the interviews in the back. One was Queen Aminata and Willow that had Chris Statlander throwing paper shredded onto Willow because she's trying to convince her she's a good girl. And then you got Toni Storm with Windsor. And it just feels like they're rushing her. Like they've done with every new wrestler they bring in that's shiny and new. They rush them into a position where they should not be. Windsor has barely been there, and now she's going up against Mercedes Moné, where, honestly, with 8 freaking titles, she's now won another title. Another title. What the blue fuck? I'm like, girl, I want to see you defend the TBS title more than anything. And I'm glad to see that you're working at other companies that you believe are going to be useful. But if you're not going to at least show footage of those companies when she defends them, they feel like a waste. Because, as I said before, when it came to like Austin Aries, when he was in Impact Wrestling, he made sure that he had the titles there. Sometimes he defended on Impact, but also they showed some footage of him defending it in another company. I'm not saying to do it all the time, but you got 8 freaking titles and you're not showing any footage. I would rather she leaves all the titles in the back, except for the TBS title, and then do what she's got to do. I want to see that, but we're not going to. She came out with Windsor, and I know you guys saw it. This is something I know more personally than most people. When Mercedes was in the ring with Windsor, and then Toni came in, and then she got the old face from Athena, who's also out there, and she nailed her. When you saw the backstabber to Windsor, when you saw her get back up, you saw a little bit of something here. Well, on this side, it was not a nipple. Let's make it very clear. Pasty. That was a pasty. I want to make it clear. That was not a nipple. It was a pasty. How do I know? Because my wife at the time was a stripper. She wanted to become one. She became one. I became very familiar with that type of stuff because she used to use them at least a couple of times. At one point, she stopped doing it, which was showing that things were not going well between us. But technically, I do know what those are, so that's what she wore to make sure nothing was going to show, just in case you didn't know. Now, let's move on to the semifinals. Do I have to say? I'm going to have to say Brody King and Bandito. If I like their team, I will say the full name. I'm not saying it now. I'm not. It seems to be popular. That's good. They are getting somewhere, even though they're just thrown together because that's how they do it. People like them. People like Bandito. People like Brody King. You now stuck them together. They are seemingly liked by the fans to a certain extent. But it's Bandito and Brody King, where you should have already pushed Bandito more than just ROH. And you should have pushed Brody King heavily already because he was already really over. And now you just stuck them together. And it's like they both went from Bandito, who came up, Brody, who came up. Now they feel like they went down, even though people are cheering them. That's how it is. Unless they win the tag titles, I don't see it happening. I don't see them getting anywhere unless they win the tag titles. They're kind of like what happened with the Outrunners. They were so popular, and they're still so popular, but they won't pull the trigger on them. Now, this is where things get fun. I was not 100% feeling the Bucks being basically chewed out and treated like shit. But I've been warming up to it and seeing that they demanded pyro. They demanded that Justin Roberts say their lines, the lines they want him to say, and to be presented correctly because they are the forefathers of AEW, and they got treated like shit again. I'm not gonna lie, it's growing on me. I'm beginning to laugh now, seeing that they were trying to lift up the They literally were screwed. They couldn't even get out without having to lift. They couldn't even lift up the sign that AEW uses. They had to crawl under it. Then they got very, very little pyro. And then they did their match, which, I'm not going to lie, I expect them to win. The way it looks like they're going to win again. And I was going like, I don't want to see this. I literally said to myself, I don't want to see them win. I would like them to stay as they are. I agree with Jesse from Off the Rope Show Central. No, not Off the Rope Show Central. Off the Script, sorry. I'm getting Off the Rope Show Central. It's like Daddy mixed up with JD and Jesse. Sorry. Let me give it like this. I agree with Jesse. They've grown on me. I'm beginning to laugh now seeing how badly they're being treated. They're being treated like bitches. And after all they did before, I'm enjoying it. But do I believe this is a redemption arc? I hope not. I hope not. I don't want to see them redeemed. I don't want to see them redeemed, not now, or not even this year. If they're ever going to do a redemption arc with the Bucks, it has to be next year. If they do it this year, it's stupid because it's being rushed. They need to be treated like shit for the entire year because they only just changed over to being jobbers now. I don't want to see them begin a redemption arc now. I don't want it. Now, let me give you like this, the final match of the night, because I'm going to go to the stuff that was interesting in the back. MJF versus Mark Briscoe, which I believe this is the final match. This is it for Mark. That's it. I'm going to say this. The match was fine. He got busted open. He got cheated because he did get his foot on the ring ropes, even though the ref didn't see it. Let's make it very clear. He got screwed 7 ways to Sunday. In that, I know you're gonna say, dude, the ref didn't see his leg. Of course, the ref did see his leg, and MJF did. But I still feel like he got screwed. Let's put this in perspective. A couple of years ago, at least over a year ago, he was very popular. Really more popular than he is now. And they had an opportunity at that time to put a title around him. I really believe that would have been the best time last year to put a title around Mark Briscoe's waist because he was that popular. They should have done it. But they did decide to do it. Now MJF wanted to work with him, which is good. I like Mark. I really do. But since they don't care about leaving him other than in ROH, instead of him being on the main roster of Dynamite, that's where he should be. If he's that important to people, if he's that over, he should be right now on Dynamite, not wandering around a Collision, not wandering around mainly ROH. He should be on Dynamite only. Flat out, that's where he should stay. But they won't do it. They just keep having him move around, and he doesn't feel important. And he should. So when you see the match, you see the story here he's been developing. It's been not that bad. It's one of the few stories I can say for a wrestler who has a very horrible, heartbreaking past. His brother died. They were both working for this company. One of them died. And that is part of his character now. That as long as he stays in the company, that is always going to be with his character, whether he turns into a bad guy or stays a good guy. If he stays a heel, if he goes heel or he goes face, his brother's death will always be part of his character permanently. And I believe they had the option with him, and now they've missed it. The only option I see is to see Mark turn heel at this point, and I don't see they're going to do that. Not unless something dramatic happens, he will never turn heel. And that's a sad thing because it's the best option for him at this point. And seeing him work with MJF, it's like, I'm going for this. I want to see MJF go up against a Hangman Page. But then I want to see Mark Briscoe get somewhere. And for me personally, I just don't see it. Now, of course, the match was over. MJF beat that ass. Mark is bloodied. You see the Hangman come out, they have a fight, and they try to separate them, and they're setting up for Forbidden Door. And MJF did not need to use his contract. He didn't need to use it. Fine. We knew they were going there. But what we needed was more for MJF, which they did give us finally. Maybe instead of saying middle of the road, it's finally happened. That might be the answer right there. Let's go for everything first. Hathaway versus Adam Copeland. We know, let's make it clear, we already know that FTR can't go near him. There's a 200-foot restriction. He can't go near them. If he does, he gets fired. If they go near him, they just found out because right now Adam Copeland's made it very clear. That was after they talked about Christian. I don't know what they're going to do with Christian at this point. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to ever turn him face this year. Maybe near the end of the year, they might. Because it's not going to happen Forbidden Door. I don't think it's going to happen in Full Gear or All Out. I think maybe next year, Revolution, you may actually get him turned face. That's just me. But I'm not feeling Christian right now. At least not until we know how the story is going to be with the matriarchy. Maybe. But hearing that Halfway's going to have a match with Adam Copeland, and he made it very clear to FTR, you guys can't come near me, I can't come near you. But I found out from Tony, if you come near me to save Hathaway, your restraining order is null and void, and I can come after your asses. Now, of course, they did their interview, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but a lot of people were botching their interviews. Adam botched a little bit, FTR botched a little bit, Hathaway botched a little bit. When it came to what I'll talk about Swerve, he did a little botching. It was weird. There was so much botchiness from so many people. I mean, I've seen it once in a while, but you guys tell me what you're thinking. But Hathaway talking, saying that he's a short, bald-headed man who hasn't got none in a while. But he's going to make sure that Adam Copeland is going to lose and go back to his half-breed ugly wife with one eye closed that can't see nothing, and these dumbfounded kids, and they're just going to know that he got beat by the stroke. Or Stoke, not stroke, the Stoke. See, I'm botching too. I'm not going to say that and it wasn't silly. But at least it goes with the story with FTR. But my question's going to be this. How long are they going to do this? That's going to be the big question. Next. Let me leave this for last. Let's go with Swerve Strickland, because I'm about to go with Kyle Fletcher. Let's do Swerve. Let me give it to you like this. Did I like what was spoken with Swerve? Yes. Did I find it next to his botchiness? At least once or twice he botched. Did he do good? Did he talk well? Talking about Okada being the greatest legend in Japanese wrestling? Yes. But here's the problem. Do I feel the feud? No. You know why? 3 things. Well, actually, two things. The International Championship, the Continental Championship. That's my problem. You still have the International, Continental, and Undisputed title. Why are there still 3 titles? There should be 1. And I'm sick and tired of seeing those 2 other titles. They're supposed to merge them. Why are they 3 titles? You know why? It's because Tony did this only temporarily, like what happened when we had the Gun Club more than a year or so ago, like a year and a half ago. They had 6 titles. No, was it 6 or 9? No, 9 titles. They had the... No. Yeah, they did. Did they have... Well, how many titles did they have? They had the Trios titles. I'm sorry, it was 6 titles. They had the Trios titles and the 6-man titles from ROH. They just... It was stupid. And I can't stand seeing these titles. I want them gone. Of course, I'm not going to see them gone, but I'm going to voice my opinion about it. And that's what's messing with me. It's not his work on the mic. It's not the vid pack they showed, which was good, along with Okada talking briefly. Along, of course, he just says bitch. And then you got pretty much a fuck you Don Callis chant later in the night. But Don has always done well. And even he botched. But I want to really feel this feud. And I can't with seeing 3 damn titles that should only be 1. Moving on. And then let me see if I'm forgetting anything. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. Let me give it to you like this. Oh my goodness. What was that? I think I might. I'm sure I might. If I'm gonna do an edit, I'm gonna have an opening with my thumbnail and this that's in my face. Kyle Fletcher. No, wait, no, not yet. Let's go through the motion here. I just found out that Kyle Fletcher now won the TNT title, and I'm like, why? Now, of course, they said later that when they had the collision match, and now Dustin Rhodes now needs double knee surgery, which Taz knows better than anybody because he's had double knee surgery. And I'm like, if Dustin needed knee surgery, why did he just win that title? Why? It should have gone to Kyle, and he could have just done the match, and that would have been it. If his knees were that bad, so bad in fact, why did he do the match, and then why did he do a subsequent match after that? Why did he go to All In? And then why did he do the collision match where it was basically a street fight? I didn't watch it, but for what images they showed, and you see Kyle jamming a screwdriver into his knee. Of course he didn't, but you know what I mean. He wouldn't be able to stand very much. But the point here is this. If Dustin was that screwed up, he should have never had the match at either All In or Collision. About to say Forbidden Door. I'm angry. This should have never happened. I understand. The only reason he got that title is because Adam Cole couldn't hold it anymore. That's for both of them. That's for Kyle Fletcher and for Dustin. And understand, I'm glad Dustin won a title, but knowing he had to have double knee surgery because he's that messed up after all these years of him working, I really, really thought when I found out Kyle should have just won at All In, and you would have cut out the middleman. That's what should have happened. But they didn't go there. So, was the segment good with the Protostar? Yes, I did enjoy it. Hearing him talk about being the greatest champion that's ever going to be, and he's going to keep that title for an ever and ever and ever and ever and ever champion. And then we see a Don Callis say, "I got you a gift." He says, "Show it to me, please." Like he's so horny. He needs to blow it out. And what do we get? This in my face. What the fuck? What? Why did I have to witness that? It's been in my face. I'm not even moving it. And I'm removing it now. What the fuck? Kyle Fletcher going like this, freaking butt naked with the title, TNT title around his waist that's triple the size. And not only Don Callis by his side wearing jeans, he's got abs of a god. That's the way they're trying to draw it. And Kyle shows no abs whatsoever. He's just flat. And you see Don standing there like this with nothing but boom, boom, boom. Abs of steel and muscles that he probably never had even when he was in his prime. I know I never had those type of muscles. But fuck. And I'm like, okay, they're really doing this. I mean, they've done this before. Of course, you know they did this when he did it before, of course. But I think that one was a little bit much. It made me laugh, and I'm going, my eyes are blinded. I'm blind. I cannot see. Like this. When I saw, oh, my eyes, I'm going blind. I cannot see. Like that. That's the type of thought that went through my head. Make me blind so I don't have to see that. But, was it effective? Yes, it goes with the character of Don Callis. He's going to make something provocative, and he always has to add himself in it so he can have some level of glory. That's just how Don is. But here's the thing. Since we still don't know who the next challenger is, my thing is this. Kyle has actually done quite well as the Protostar. He's not perfect at it, but I think since when him and Davis got split up because Davis got injured and he started working Don Callis, He has grown into that position. He's one of the few I can really say is a really homegrown creation of AEW. And I like him. I do. But who is he going to go up against that's going to be important? Who? The only person I can think of, honestly, who I can think of that could be the next person to go up against would be Darby Allin. But he's going to have to go through Jon Moxley first. That's the only person that can make any sense, because if you're not going to have Darby get the championship, like many people thought, they're going to want to put some title on him. There's no way they're not going to. Tony's going to put a title on him. So the only one I can think of that would be the wisest to put around his waist will be the TNT title, because he does have history with it. But until that time, who is Kyle going to be dealing with? I don't even know. So I'm like, what the hell did I just see? I think that's the title I'm going to use. What the hell did I just see? Peace.